Stanislav, I don't want to get E-2 visa because I'm scared of the tax implications once I start my business in the US, and I'm afraid I will be paying a lot of taxes and things gonna go wild, so I'm kind of hesitant to go with E-2 visa. Today, we're gonna be discussing the tax implications for E-2 visa and the best tax planning plan for you in the future for the US for E-2 investor visa. Let's go! Hello my dear friends, my name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. So we are discussing the topic of the tax implication for E-2 visa. And please stay till the end of this video because you will learn how to get a free evaluation of your E-2 case. Many of you have heard about the tax laws in the US and you guys are really scared of paying a lot of taxes once you come to the US, be it on E-2 visa, L1 visa, O1, all these visas. And I understand, this topic really has to concern you, okay? At least concern you at the very least. Better way to say, you need to be educated about the tax laws in the US because you will have to pay the taxes. However, you can do it in a very smart way. First of all, this video is educational. I'm not a licensed accountant. I'm not CPA. I don't have education in the tax law. I have common knowledge about that, so please consult an accountant, a licensed accountant or CPA if you want to know the details about your particular situation. However, I know enough to give you a general overview of what's going on. Number one, when you get E-2 visa, you do not automatically become a US tax resident. Well, there are a few options for you to become a tax resident. Not that you want to become one, but sometimes you become one automatically. So number one, you get a green card and then citizenship, so that way you will become automatically the tax resident. And what does a tax residency implies? That means that you have to pay US taxes on all your world income. And again, it sounds pretty scary, but it's not as scary as it is. Why? Because if you pay certain amount of taxes in your country, and then the amount of taxes on this income is higher in the US. Let's say you made 100K in Pakistan, okay? And you paid 12%. But in the US, and again, that's just a hypothesis, okay? That's not the exact number. Let's say in the US, it's 15% income tax on this amount. So you pay 12 in Pakistan, but in the US, it's 15. So instead of paying another 15% on your income in Pakistan, you will pay the difference, the 3% between 12 and 15. That's all what means US tax law on your world income. Sometimes in Germany, in Sweden, in France, you guys pay like crazy. Those taxes are really high, sometimes 50%, sometimes even more. If you pay those taxes in France, then you don't have to pay anything to the US because you already covered all the taxes that you have to pay, and even more than you would have paid had you been in the US. That's what it means to be a tax resident. However, if you get E-2 visa, you also may become the tax resident. And by the way, guys, let's take a step back and remind ourselves, what's E-2 visa? E-2 visa is a smaller investor visa, again, comparing to EB-5, which is a large investment visa. So for E-2, you have to have a citizenship of the country that signed the E-2 treaty, the trade agreement with the US. The full list of those countries is going to be below this video in the link. Second of all, you need to have the amount of money invested in the US in the startup business or in the existing business, and that's 100,000 plus. And you have to provide a business plan and the proof of funds. And that visa has no limit as long as you bring economic impact to the US. And your spouse can get E-2 visa and be able to work and live in the US. And your kids below 21 also will be able to come with you. Once you get your E-2 visa, you do not automatically become a tax resident. However, you will become one once you live in the US for at least 183 days. And that's approximate number of days, because it could be more, it could be less, because the formula is a little weird. It like calculates 2 years instead of 1. Again, consult a licensed accountant for more information on that. But in other words, if you live in the US approximately more than 6 months a year total, then you become a US tax resident. And that means you have to pay the US taxes on your world income, which I just explained 5 minutes ago. It's possible to still get E-2 visa and calculate your time being in the US on that visa and still not become a US tax resident. Let's say you are a family of 4, mama, papa, and 2 kids. You guys came to the US, and let's say husband has E-2 visa, and the husband is the one who's an investor, who's a businessman. He's going back and forth and doing big things. But the kids and mama wants to stay in the US and go to school and enjoy, all the benefits here. But they don't have income, so they don't have to worry about this, right? Unless mama goes to work and works somewhere here in the US. But the kids are not, they're going to school. So they may stay in the US, and you are the main investor, or if your mama and husband wants to stay, we don't discriminate, we're not sexist. So whatever that combination is, whoever is more active can travel back and forth between the US and the home country or whatever other country and still not become a US tax resident, which is a great news. If your business requires you be in the US, okay, and the rest, like if you have a restaurant, you just can't leave for a couple of months, okay, it's gonna blow up. If you become the US tax resident, of course, you need to plan that ahead of time. And remember, the US tax laws, they do not cover your cash. They only cover your income. So if you have a long-term plans for the US and you're gonna stay here for a while, and you have the assets that bring you income while you're in the US, you may think about liquidating those assets into cash. Then reassess your portfolio, your investment portfolio, and see what's going on. Or you can put the money into the assets that grow in value, like stocks, maybe bonds. I mean, who put the money in the bonds right now? Those like negative yield, probably Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, and just don't sell them and keep them for the future generations. That could be the decision. But again, that's a part of tax planning, because there is a very serious move what you can do to protect yourself from US taxes, and that's the irrevocable trust. If you create offshore irrevocable trust and put all your assets in it, then they will not be taxed by the US law. But this is a very serious move, because irrevocable means that you cannot revoke that trust. So that trust is forever. So a very serious step. Of course, consult the trust experts and accountants, so if you want to do that serious move. Usually that happens when you get your residency, your green card, okay? That's when you may think about that serious move, and that could be then of a very good benefit to you. And number 3, I already said that you have to consult the accountant and see what's going on, how you need to file your taxes, what's the paperwork, what things you need to pay attention to. This is really serious stuff, because you need to understand that you need to pay the taxes for your employees as a part of the paycheck. You need to do it in a certain timing, and you need to understand what kind of paperwork you need to give to them if they work for W-2 or 1099. And again, guys, don't get scared like, oh my God, Stanislav, what are you talking about? I just need you to know the terms so you guys could then follow up with your own research. Okay, W-2, 1099, you need to know what those things mean. Stanislav is not going to be the one to explain it to you, because even if I do, you'll be like, oh my God, I need to have someone more qualified. So guys, make sure you understand those terms, understand how often you need to pay the taxes, understand that some states have income taxes. Okay, like New York and California, and many, many others. Texas and Florida, on the other hand, do not have any state taxes. Some states have the taxes for the corporations, for C corporations. You need to know all those little things because they're all connected to your E-2 business. Now, first of all, guys, smash that like button because Stanislav is the only one who gives you the best stuff, all right? And you love it. So please give me some respect and love. Smash that like button. Also, if you want to think about your future E-2 visa, but you're like, oh, what I do, what's my next step? Free evaluation. What is it? It's the form that you need to fill out. It's below this video in the link. So you fill out that form. 2 days I take to analyze it and get back to you with the initial analysis of your case. And I will let you know if you have a potential. And if you do, I will invite you to the complex immigration planning. That's where I will build your written winning strategy of filing your case within the next 6 months. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Smash that bell button. Also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post very good exclusive content over there as well. My name is Stanislav Shamaev. I'm a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.